The 8-step guide that we see on screen here is pretty distinct from the very beginning of the journey of defining the problem all the way to planning for real adoption. We're going to go through these one by one. I think the first point is pretty simple, right? Align on outcomes. Don't focus on the technology or the tool without knowing what the problem and the challenge is. You have to start with your end in mind and the end state. What is your 12-month, 24-month plan, right? Look at what's broken and not working, the pains and the challenges that you have, and start there. Don't start with features and functionality, because that is, of course, something that you can match against the pain and challenges. And you're not going to find a solution that does absolutely everything, that solves absolutely every pain and challenge that you have. But you will, of course, be able to map what are the most crucial to be able to map now, and what, of course, can we be able to develop with in the future. And, of course, then find a partner that you can develop with. Equal to that, make sure that you understand what is supposed to be in an SRM solution. Your challenges and problems might be, for example, limited. With that being said, you might have opportunity to grow, right? Managing supplier information, data, documentation, the internal workflows for approvals, corrective actions, collaboration. These are all essential elements of a platform. Additional to that, third-party risk management, the ability also to be able to run intake and onboarding, self-assessment, audits, performance evaluation, to be able to benchmark vendors on spend, on their performance, and alike. These are all essential elements that should be in an SRM. And of course, this can be matched against the elements that are within your problem or challenge base, and see, of course, if there is then overlap within that. Make sure that then you go to market, but go to market in a smart way, right? Google search exists, but so does AI. We've seen a lot of businesses starting to be able to work with their AI search. There is good and bad ways to be able to prompt. A bad way would be, well, what are some of the best SRM solutions that are out there in the market? A good prompt would be more structured, giving context to the AI, requirements to the AI, and tasks that you're looking to be able to develop. This is then on the left-hand side of the screen, a template for how you could prompt like a pro, and I'm sure that you could be able to build upon this. But of course, make sure that you have a goal, make sure that you have a role, for example. So you're maybe an analyst or a procurement software category expert, for example, right? You want to be able to be a technology advisor and have the tonality within the search, for example, of an advisor as well. These are all essential to the prompt that you're inputting to be able to do this AI search. Then get out there in the market, get active. Don't just, for example, sit within your own cocoon. Make sure that you backchannel, look at peer insights, look at social proof out there in the market. Backchannel with customers. Every LinkedIn site has, for example, a link to customers. So does, for example, website has case studies. Start there. Go, for example, to Kodiak or other providers' case study page. Find a customer that, for example, A, is aligned with your business or your industry, and reach out to that particular business. Reach out to that procurement or supply chain organization. Look at Capterra and G2 reviews. And lastly, of course, use your network. Don't underestimate the power of putting something out there in the world on LinkedIn and seeing what comes back to you. Step number 5, create a scoring matrix. Just like Kodiak, for example, helps our customers to be able to score their supplier base or prospective supplier base on areas of business practices, compliance, performance, risk, and alike. This is very important for you guys when you're evaluating technology as well. Map out your requirements, determine where they're weighted in their priority, and then, of course, have that example weighting within your overall evaluation of the market. Then and only then, and trust me, you can be able to do it before, but I'll tell you that now you won't be starting with the end in mind if you do so, but go book a demo, right? Find the solution providers that are right for you via Google or AI search, determine what your requirements are, and then go out to market. Don't do it before, because of course, then you're going to let the functionality and features guide the way that you're able to buy. Determine what is your end state, then go out to market. So with that being said, if you are interested in booking a demo with Kodiak, I'd be remiss, of course, with not just asking if you are, then feel free to, on screen now, go ahead and book a demo here with one of our SRM experts. The call to action is on the screen right now. If you'd be interested, of course, in digging in, all you need to do is just press directly on that particular button and feel free to book a demo with one of our experts, and they'll be happy to guide you through who Kodiak Hub is and what it is that we're capable of. Step number 7, proof of value, proof of concept. Stress test real processes and workflows. Map your processes, but also Work alongside the vendors in the market to map those processes and then see it in action. Stress test things. Don't take, for example, a word for it. Make sure that you see things in action, see things engineered, and of course, see where the pockets or gaps are as well. Every solution will have them. You need to be able to determine who is a vendor that you can work towards closing those gaps with if they're essential to your use case. But the bottom line is you're going to have to make changes in your process. You're going to have to make changes in your expectations. You're going to, of course, have to make some concessions on what is priority for your business as well. With that being said, change management, process change management is essential to be able to adopt new technology. And I think that that gets directly into step number 8, which is making sure that you have the key success factors for rapid deployment and adoption in place. Because buying technology is not just for the sake of having a new glossy tool, it's for actually using it and creating business impact. That's starting with the end in mind, and that should be the end goal. Well, what do we determine are some of those 4 areas that are essential? Well, good governance, enough resources, good insight and buy-in from leadership, and know-how, subject matter expertise in your business as well as then within the vendor business as well. What do we typically expect is, of course, that you need to look at investing resources in that project. You need to have a designated project manager, and you need to expect to involve key stakeholders in the project. With that being said, a modern AI and SaaS solution, you should not have to have a heavy lift for IT. And if IT is expecting that there is going to be a heavy lift, then you need to be able to swat that down and combat that right at the start, but also keep them involved from the start from an architecture perspective to make sure that IT knows how this solution is potentially going to interact with your existing solutions, master database, ERP, S2P, and alike. So there we have it, our 8-step guide to the going to market for SRM software.